anything.
Have we already started? It's answering questions I haven't been asked yet.
Go. All right, we can do it whenever.
Hello and welcome to #ActorLife Podcast. I'm your host, John Rosenfeld.
No, you're
I'm here
not.
with Ryan. I'm your host, Ryan Garcia, this week. We're breaking format because I'm going to be interviewing you,
Oh my
John,
God,
on your own podcast.
I like this. Big energy, theater
Big
kid energy.
theater kid energy
Yes.
showing up here. John, hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? You're a little tired today?
I am a little tired today.
Yeah, I get it. You work the hardest out of
I didn't
maybe
sleep
anybody
well.
I know.
No, well, that's not true. But I didn't sleep a lot last night. I got for some reason I woke up at like 6:30, and I'm like, and I went to bed at like 1. And I was like, I'm up.
And when do you often like sleep through the whole night?
When you get into your 50s,
Yeah.
one must pee frequently.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you get up. Is it easy to get back to bed after that?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quick.
It feels so weird to me right now having no microphone. I'm used to having like a relationship to a mic, and right now we're loved up.
I feel a little naked.
Yeah.
No, or like I feel like
There's
I can
nothing
go
to
anywhere.
protect myself or like to separate. We're just right here, right
Should we
with
just
each other.
pretend like we're speaking into the mic? No.
I don't know, but I did ask you earlier because when you were getting loved up, it looked very foreign. And when was the last time you got loved up for something?
I think you did it to me in the office when you showed me your new
I
live.
did. You're right. I did. Lob you up there to show you my new tech.
Yeah, yeah.
John, I have known you since 2010,
Yes, you have.
which was the same year that you started John Rosenfeld Studios.
Yeah.
For me, like I was so brand new to everything in LA, and meeting you was such like an important and clearly like a serendipitous event in my life because so much that I have gotten in my life has been thanks to the community that you have fostered and built here at John Rosenfeld Studios. I met my wife. I've met many of the people that I've worked with creatively on stage or behind and in front of the camera, which has led to such a full Los Angeles life. And I just want to first start by saying, like, thank you so much for building this.
Oh.
You know, it has become such a community and a home for so many people. And you can respond to that. But
It just really, no, it's really, I don't know, it's beyond heartwarming. It's just, you know, I think the really interesting thing, it's kind of like acting. I did not create the studio I just wanted to create a place that was a place I never got to have, you know, but I never necessarily had an ambition of I had an idea of what I wanted it to be, even in a very small way. I wanted it to be like a playground. I wanted it to be a community. I wanted it to be safe. I wanted it to be where we could push you, but you also felt held. I wanted to be very individual. How do we customize an education depending on who the person is versus not follow this is the right way to do it, but what is your way to do it? And then I've gotten to learn. I mean, it's been the biggest gift. Like, it's kind of like with acting. Because I didn't have this idea of like, this is where I'm trying to go. You know what I mean? It's not like when you're like, I want to be a movie star.
Right.
It wasn't like I want to have a huge studio. It was, I just want to create a place I want to go to. You know what I mean? And I loved coming to work. And it felt like it get to be a birthplace of like, oh my God, we could do whatever we want with this thing. And you were a huge part of it. I mean, you were the birthplace of so many ideas and concepts, and the community built it. But it was, with Nicole Dalton, it was created for such a place of like, we want a place that we've never had before.
Yeah. And let's jump backwards for a little bit because you were like a very much working actor. You were born and raised in Los Angeles? And then where'd you go to college?
I went to Oberlin College in Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you also got an MFA?
I did. I went right after college to get my master's.
Wow. And then to New York?
And then to New York. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I always thought I wanted to go to NYU, to Tisch. And then I got in, and a friend of mine, we were really close. He was very wealthy. His dad was the head of Warner Brothers. And I went with him to go visit New York, and I had never spent any time in New York as a like 18-year-old, like where we would have fun, you know. And I went, I had a lot of fun, but I was like, I can't fucking live here.
Yeah.
I'll die. Like I'll do bad. I mean, like I don't know how you study. I mean, I would look at that environment.
There's too many opportunities.
Too many opportunities, and my friend was so wealthy and was like going out to these expensive dinners and all this stuff, and I couldn't keep up. Literally when I got home, my mom like said, because she let me use her credit card, and she's like, was not happy.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. You know, like New York is very much like so expensive right now. Clearly, it wasn't as expensive the time you were there, but still comparatively to other places, it's still
in '89. It was still expensive.
Yeah, comparatively to everything else.
Yeah, it was very expensive, and then it was really interesting. I got the flu while I was like probably from having too much fun in New York.
Sure.
And
the immune system couldn't keep up either.
Couldn't keep up. And then I went. I took a plane to Cleveland, Ohio, to go visit Oberlin. It is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like just in the middle of nowhere. There's not a hill in sight. And it was like 100 degrees and humid. And I was like, this is the place for me. There's nothing around. I was like, because I
now
wanted,
I can actually be focused on what I'm going after.
I wanted a really intimate environment. I wasn't ready. I wish I had been the type of person.
Was there actually that much self-awareness? Did you actually have like that much self-awareness of like, if I stay in New York, I'm not going to be focused on what I actually want to go after. I need to be in this place that separates me from
I think it's
the nightlife.
I think it's because I'm from Los Angeles, and I know what it's like to live in a big city. And I went to a small high school, and I liked going to a small high school. And I just knew intuitively that I'm going to thrive a lot better when I actually have relationships with teachers, when I have a smaller community. Otherwise, I will get very overwhelmed.
Right.
You know?
And because you had this past in LA, why didn't you go after grad school like, all right, let's go to LA and hit the pavement there? What was it about New York that drew you as like, that's where you were going to cut your teeth as a professional actor?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I also wish I weren't the type of person that needed graduate school. You know, there are a lot of people, I think graduate school is kind of like college. It's such a privilege.
Yeah.
And I think I wasn't ready, like when I know this is not the question, but it kind of is the answer. I needed 3 years. I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for graduate school, which gave me the opportunity to what a privilege just to go in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, like which is heaven on earth. And you're just all day long. That's all you're doing. 14 hours a day. You're just working on acting.
That's honestly the dream.
It's the dream. And the great thing back then, they paid me to go there.
Wow, like talk about living in a playground too. Like you're just, and everyone that you're around is also a nerd about acting.
My class
and a
was
nerd
like,
about the body and the voice.
That's all. And you're like, I don't have to worry about the English test. I don't have to worry about this test.
Yeah, no gen eds.
No. And I just would go to the library and read plays.
Wow.
Like I got addicted to reading plays. And I'd never, I just wasn't, I had a lot of personal stuff to where I had my own walls. And I think I intuitively knew that like, I wasn't ready. And my grad school teacher, Nancy Lane, actually said something. She's like, people who typically come here know, they don't know it, but they know it, that they're not ready. I wish I had been the type of person that could have just gone straight to LA.
Right.
But I wouldn't, again, be here. I would have stopped. It taught me I knew I needed space to find habits. I needed to actually, I had never, for 3 years, doing something that you wanted to do every day was such a magical gift.
When I was in high school, I would never do my homework because it just didn't engage me. I did great on the tests.
Of course, you got good grades,
Ryan. No, I got bad grades because the homework does count toward your grade. If it was just the tests, I would have been great. Because I was like, this homework's not for me. It's for that person who still needs it. But then when I got to college and it was all these acting classes, I was like, I did more than what the homework was because like this actually engages my brain in a way that I want to show up for it.
Yeah, but it's not work.
No.
Going to a library and reading an Ibsen play did not feel like work to me
at all.
or just going like, oh, here's a play I haven't seen before, and oh, let's see, it's I heard good things about it, and you're just it taught me to experience, because there was so much patience, because I wasn't reading a play for an exam. I was
Right.
reading a play to find scenes and to experience the play.
Yeah.
And it taught me that idea of just experiencing something while I'm reading it. And why wouldn't you want to go back to the library to, you know? I mean, I will be honest, though, I don't read books.
Me either, though.
I mean, I feel
do
guilty
listen to
about that.
books.
I do listen occasionally to a book, but like
But you read so much text.
I read so much text, and I look forward to opening those pages. Until I find out it's not good, then I stop.
Then it's not a great
Then it's
time.
not a great time. But speaking of that, so after grad school, that's a dumb thing. We didn't even do a showcase in LA. Everyone was moving to New York.
The only option was, this is where you're going to create your roots.
That just seemed to be, I don't know a single person that moved to LA, not a single person from my class.
Wow.
It was really poorly conceived by the department. They now do a showcase in LA.
I was going to say, I feel like even like a lot of the BFA, MFA programs that are so focused in I think I took one on-camera class at my BFA, and now looking back at it, they didn't know what they were doing. Because even the professors were talking about the things happening on camera from like 15 years prior, which, you know, when you're out here actually working in the film and TV business, because you also work as an on-set coach, so you actually have like, still, even though you haven't been an actor on set, you have been on set so much so recently that you're like, it's changing. Every few months there's new things new lessons to acquire, new ways of working.
I love going to set for that reason. I do feel like I'm just
I think
a
it's so
sponge.
important as a teacher to have that experience, because if you the more you get separated from what's actually happening in the business, the less you're actually able to help these students who are looking to create a career in it.
And it's also great just to, when you're on a good set, you just get to see how collaborative it is and how much people are still just in process and trying to find it, and that it's still, everyone has questions and people get confused and people are trying to find it, you know, and it's such a reminder of why we got into it. This is not going to set going, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
Right.
It's going to set and being open to the possibilities of what might happen.
I love that. And one of the things that I've adopted as a teacher that I love that you ask actors that you work with is, what are you working on in your acting? And when you were still acting, what would you say that like the biggest thing you were still working on in your acting?
Oh
like
God,
you were
so many things.
you were in LA, you know, like at a point where like you're working on Always Sunny, or whatever point in your career you were at. What was the thing that you were like, oh, this is the thing that's still like the focus?
I was still working on authentic relaxation. Like really having a relationship with the camera that invited it in.
Yeah.
That was a really friendly relationship with it, where I wanted it to see everything.
Yeah.
And I think there were times where, as I'm slowly getting closer to the camera, I think, you know what, it's really crazy. What helped my relationship to the camera post-acting was the pandemic. Because I was on Zoom so much, and I'd stare at my face.
Yeah, you were doing exposure therapy for on-camera work.
Oh my God! And I would look at myself, and I eventually got so comfortable and sick of my face.
Yeah.
That I just would turn it
You
off.
don't care anymore.
I stopped caring.
Yeah.
And I still feel I'm going through that journey of like learning. Look, everything we teach, we need to learn. You know, I'm sure you find that in your teaching.
Sure,
like I'm
of course.
teaching myself out of things. And I think what makes me a good acting teacher is just how many acting problems I've had. Because I've had to really work on those things. I think I need to work on authentic, on it, like true relaxation, allowing the camera to witness everything without that little voice, that part of me that was nervous or anxious about how it was being interpreted by the lens. And I think the thing I always was that I feel like right when I started is right when I was really starting to find it. Like truly dropping in to where you can listen through that lens of who this human is and being able to do it in multiple genres.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Yes.
was always like that thing of just like, how can I operate honestly in all of these frequencies? You know, and I still was not there yet, but I think that I was still, it was something I was becoming really tangible to me.
Was it more, and so I want to talk about the purpose of the studio. I want to talk about all the
We can talk about all of
great
it
things
in
you've
a
done
year
here.
in review.
And as we're getting to all of that, but I think like when you are, what's the word I want to say here? Well, there's something I want to say that maybe will like guide me to it. But even the thing you're talking about, like with the relationship with the camera and finding that like actual relaxation with it, is it feels like first you have to gain all these skills, know exactly how to have a relationship with the camera, how to find stillness in front of it. Like you have to really think about all of it, so that then you don't have to think about it. Because if you just went in being like, I don't care about the camera, it's going to be complete chaos, right? But then having that knowledge, it's like you have to get through the part of the learning the knowledge or having the knowledge to get to the place of then forgetting that you even know it, so you can just be present with the other person. But here's what I'll ask you right now. Do you miss acting? What a build-up. Is there
I will tell you,
something?
okay, so
Yeah, go ahead. Do
a
you miss
year ago, I got asked to do a lecture, like a TED Talk type of thing on authenticity for a corporate retreat. And I felt that nervousness and anxiety that I always felt when someone would offer me a play. And I rehearsed it for a couple of months, like writing it, getting it ready. I did it with Jeff Witzke and Rachel, and we ran it, and we did all that stuff. And when I really look at it in retrospect, I wanted to see how I've evolved in that way, you know, as far as like, because it is a performance. And I wanted to know what I've learned.
Yeah.
And it was pretty profound, where they're showing this they made this one beautiful sizzle reel for me, which was just so impressive. I was like, who the fuck is that? But before they called my name, I was like, I'm about to go on. I felt those, you know, on the wings of the stage. I felt it. And I did what I teach. I went, wait, hold on. I literally stopped before I went on. I was like, you know what the fuck you're doing? What do you want?
Yeah.
And I went through it. Make these people feel safe. Make these people feel like they're not alone. And then my attention went off of myself, and I looked at these people, and my nerves, 1 second, and it was on. And it was like, and the nerves just, 1 second. And I was here, and I was there, and it was moment to moment, and there were these things going on, and it was such a joy.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say selfishly, when it comes to acting, I do feel like I get to act every day.
You get to act, and not only do you get to act, you get to act with points of views that you would never get hired to perform as, because when you're coaching somebody, taping somebody, or teaching somebody, you're getting into every single different...
I had a joy. I was coaching Chloe Wepper, the lovely Chloe Wepper. Hi. And when I was coaching her on White Lotus, and I got to play this role that I was like, oh, I get to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to do some Mike White points of view. And it was so fun because, you know this, that when you're coaching, you want to give them everything. So
and I know when it's a great take.
That's what we're paid for.
I know that it's the take if I'm present. Because that means that if I was present, that means there was nothing that they did that was outside of genre or outside of the given circumstances.
Do you ever do this?
Out.
There's a time where I do notice that. I agree with you fully. I was coaching someone last week, and my note was very weird, but I was like, just be with me.
Yeah, totally. I've said that so many times.
I'm gonna act.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna change things moment to moment depending on what's happening.
Yeah.
So just go on. Let's go on the ride.
I have some actors who come and tape with me, and I'll notice they're not looking at me. They're kind of looking right past me. And I just think, hey, so I'm right here. I'm giving you everything you need.
Don't play the idea of me.
Yes.
I'm here.
Because also, that's the problem. Like, what I'm working on in my acting still always is making the other person three-dimensional. Because I spend so much time thinking about the circumstances and the world and myself and my relationship to it that I forget, like, oh, if I just put the face over there that affects me in the way that I need it to, and really believe that that human is there, then I don't have to, what you were saying before, it takes it off of myself.
I think the other thing we were saying, like, were you working on? Is something I think every teacher works on, is that, you have to make sure that you're not teaching yourself into this is what the scene has to be.
Right.
You have to make sure that, and I think sometimes as a person who, I wouldn't necessarily identify myself as a people pleaser, but I like to please people.
Sure. I get that.
And there were so many times where casting directors would say, they'd be like, God, John, you're so good. But what they were really saying is, you understand it.
Yeah.
I was getting applauded for my competency.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I think that shows you that so many people go into the room and they have no idea what the fuck the scene is.
Yeah.
But wouldn't mean I get the job. But they were just like they were so happy to have competency.
Yeah.
But that's not what gets you the job.
Competency does not book you the gig.
It does not book you the gig. The booking the job is going to that next level, which is truly jumping off the ledge.
Yeah.
And in jumping off the ledge, you reveal a humanity or a nuance that can't be preconceived because it's texture, and I think me at my best as a teacher, as a whatever, I'm not editing myself.
Yep.
And if I am editing, it's only from the character's point of view, and it's unedited editing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think it's one of the problems with self-taping, because it's so much easier to, like when you were just talking about this presentation that you gave and how you felt. Twyla Tharp talks about the dancers that she loves are the ones that feel that anxiety before they walk on stage, because it means you care. There's real stakes. And there's real stakes when you walk into a room and there's a casting director and now you have no choice but to jump. And your impulses are the things that are going to, and all the work you did is there, but the impulses and you being alive is what's going to help you survive through that moment. And when you're self-taping, you're so contained and safe that I find myself in self-tapes having to create and build some blood flowing through and cortisol through my veins,
I find I have to do a lot of tricks in coaching when people are there, where it's like, listen, can you just make a
I gotta wake them up.
Do something weird right now. Let's
do the Garden State thing, where it's like, let's say something that's never been said in this spot.
Yes, or I'll just say that, make up this line. This is the line you're saying now.
Yeah.
Forget it. They're like, but it's not in the text. I was like, no one's going to give a shit.
Yeah, especially watching it back and then wanting it to be so clean. It's like, no, I don't want it to be clean. No. I want it to be you.
And I think the second you watch an actor, and you know this, when you're like, oh God, you see a period there.
Right, yeah.
You're seeing the punctuation.
Yeah.
Stop seeing the punctuation. I go, you're playing punctuation right now. You can't play punctuation. And I go, that's immediate, we're not there.
So you've been doing, I want to jump into the on-set coaching, because I think that's so exciting. And so,
but if you offered me a movie where I'm in it with you, I would do it.
Okay, great. I did want to ask what would be the thing to take you back into acting.
I'll tell you, I'll never forget, I had a meeting with my agent back then. It wasn't that long, but the studio was really great. I will say, it was such a magical thing starting the studio. I had no idea. Like, when you've been teaching, because I had been teaching elsewhere for like 9 years, and I had no idea who I had an impact on. Like, you know what I mean? You have no idea because you're living under someone else's.
Hey, John, if you put your hand there anymore, you block my shot like that, I'm going to have problems.
I guess my relationship with the camera.
Can I just say, your relationship with your camera is wonderful. Okay. But if you block my camera one more time.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that.
Now I lost where I was. Oh, I had no idea. But when you're under someone else's umbrella, you don't know. And then when we started it, it was really wild to have people reach out and be like, I had been wishing you did this for so long.
Wow.
And then it was such an opportunity to learn, and then also develop the business side of my brain to go like, I've never done this before. Employing people, giving people opportunities. I mean, the industry was at such a different time during this. So it was just like, it just started to kind of explode, and my brain got into like this incredible place where I've been thinking a lot about this idea of, I don't consider myself not spiritual, but nor do I consider myself spiritual insofar as like I don't know a zodiac sign to save my life.
Sure.
However, I've been thinking about that idea of like someone was talking about Saturn returns or
I feel like it's always happening.
It's always happening, right? But I remember very
also Mercury's
specifically,
always in retrograde.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but from 27 to 30, I remember I was going through a really big phase in my life where I needed that time. But I remember I was really having a tough time. Started at 36. I started at 38 because I was like, I knew that something needed to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like things emerge. It's like you're like this is. It's not ego. It's truly evolution of your being, which is like I have something to offer.
Yeah.
I have something I really do, and I finally started to know my voice, and I felt like I believe, and I started to know what I reject. And those are very important things. What do I believe in? What do I reject?
Yeah.
And I became clear on what I was rejecting.
What were you rejecting?
I was rejecting this idea of the right way to do anything.
Yeah.
I was rejecting the idea of being of service to ego, of someone else's ego.
Right.
It was like a culmination of my life experience between, my dad and going like, you know what, I'm noticing that I'm around people who are not
and it was feeding a part of you because that thing you were saying, not a people pleaser, but liking to please people, like you were gaining, a part of you was gaining something by pleasing that person's ego or these people's ego.
And then it serves you to a point.
And you start to realize like, but why is it serving, what is it feeding, and is it actually serving me? And
eventually the returns really dwindle.
Yeah.
And they actually start to cost.
Right.
They cost. And it started to cost me. And when I started this place, it was the most magical experience with Gabby and building something that was, I thought, with Nicole Dalton and I, it was an expression of a thing we wanted. Because, I had a abusive acting school teacher in graduate school. He was not good. And I knew all these different types of coaches and all these things I had been to, and I really wanted to create it was my first time where every decision I made would be what I was able to make it happen. Like the film festival was such a, Patrick Kavanaugh said, we should have film festivals. Yes,
we can build that.
We can do that. There's not all this bureaucracy.
Yeah. You can be more nimble as well.
You can be nimble, and I think it was weird, all that bureaucracy that had to happen when it's not your shop. And anyone would have an idea, and it was like, remember we used to go on those yearly retreats?
Yes.
Those retreats brought me so much joy. It was like, what do people want to do?
We had the big whiteboard or the white sheet, and we'd pull it back, and we'd start writing down new notes, and we'd break into small groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and now the place has become what it is today, and it's just, it feels like it's grown, and it feels like now there's like almost a generation, like there's so many like generations of people who've come through JRS. Like all these different groups of people that are now my LA family.
Yeah. It's very strange now. I mean, it's like I look at it, it's like, you started in 2010. And sometimes I believe I'm the only person that's aged.
Right.
But then all of a sudden I ran into this person who's like, I remember when they were just like out of college.
Yeah.
And they're like 37 now. Mm-hmm. I mean, with like, you know, babies, and you're just like, oh my God.
I know.
It goes way too fast. I mean, we're smaller now than we were back. I mean, do you remember at one point it got so crazy? Mm-hmm. But like it's just, you look at it with the pandemic and the
double strikes
the strikes. It's just a different world.
And the way that this industry is changing, and it's going to change now again with this perhaps new Netflix purchase. Like there's just so many things on the horizon there's so much unknown.
The Paramount takeover. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Where you going, big theater kid?
Yeah, I wanted to say something, but I gotta just let it go.
No, I want to know.
No, but you know, like
we can edit this out.
I know, and that is one thing that I love is like because it's crazy. You said at 38, because that's when you started the studio at
38.
Because at 38, when I was like, I want to like make something, and that's when I started Big Theater Kid Energy. I was 38, but it's like just interesting. But I liked having that control. I love that it's all one. I'm the shop. You know, I set up the lighting, I set up the editing, I do the whole thing, and it's really nice to know, like, while I'm talking, that I know I can go back and like, oh, I know exactly how I'm going to edit that out and fix this and jump there.
What I was going to say is when you talk about like the acting studio mirroring an acting career.
Yeah.
When we get into acting, for most of us, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I never once thought about the money.
Right.
I mean, when you're applying to grad school, you're not thinking about the money.
No, because it would be a bad thing to. Then you're doing a bad job if you're thinking about the money with grad school.
No, my thought is like, it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
Something is going to work out.
Totally.
I did it because I wanted to do it. And where my career got sidetracked, acting-wise, is when I started to book enough jobs to actually pay me money. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Like normally you'd think like, oh, that's great. I didn't receive it as that was not my experience. My experience was just immediate fear of losing what I had achieved. I actually I felt richer when I was poorer. And when I suddenly got money from acting, I suddenly was like, oh God, I can't go backward. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. It's like when you start booking those jobs or getting those recurrings or, and got, a show, you're like, it actually brought out worse sides of me. And I really had to go to a lot of therapy for that. And I think starting the studio was very similar to me when I first started acting, because it was not about the money. I obviously wanted to be able to support myself, but it was just
about the people that were on staff.
Yeah. It was like a creative playground where it's like, oh my God. But I think, especially in today's world, when you're watching the climate, and when we look at this year, I think it's why it's so wildly important for people to stay in touch with whatever that source is, whatever that, like that's why I was so excited to hear you do your podcast, because that was such a great, that was you. I mean, of all
and
the
just
things,
authentic as possible.
Yeah, this was not authentic. Like Ryan going, what would be the idea?
Right.
No, it was like, this is a genuine expression of everything that like excites Ryan Garcia.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that I say the most, and I think that I believe, is that if it goes nowhere, and all it is me seeing theater and then talking to somebody for an hour about the show we just saw, then I'm living my dream life.
Yeah.
Like that's I've already hit the success point. So everything else is just gravy.
See, that there's no better way to get into it.
Yeah.
It's like wait, I'm grateful for what access it's giving me to all this great theater and conversations and all that stuff.
And this is giving you so much access. I remember something that you had talked about. There's two things I want to talk about. One is what I love about the studio and the way when I talk to people about the studio is that when you see and something that's helped me so much as a coach and as an actor is that you'll be able to read something and see the breakdown. And when you look at a breakdown, sometimes I'll see a breakdown for an audition I have and it's not me. And the character's not me.
Yeah.
But since I've read the script, because I read everything that comes to me, if it's available, I'm reading it because I want as much information as possible.
Yeah.
Because then I can understand, okay, well, what is the function of this character to the larger story?
Yeah.
And what do I do super well that serves that function that may not fit this breakdown, but it fits me?
Right.
And I can bring something that they're not even going to know actually works for the chemistry that they're trying to create with this story.
Yeah.
And the way that this studio is not about, like you were saying, getting it right, making the breakdown exactly right, and playing that scene exactly as it was written. It's actually, no, play to your strengths and make the scene sing through what you can do.
Claire Danes was talking about this on a podcast the other day. It's like, she says, it's easier to act in great writing that's very exacting versus procedural writing that's very exacting. Mm-hmm. Because when it's procedural, it's kind of like, these are the things that need to be conveyed in this open.
Yep.
Whereas when you're doing something like truly, if you're doing West Wing, it's very exacting, but like, it goes to that day, leap.
Yes.
You do have to hit these things, but from within those beats, there's all of this humanity that you can still find your own unique Ryan Garcia imprint on that.
Yeah.
You know, like whether it's Bradley Whitford doing it, but someone else could have done a wonderful job on that, depending on like what their particular chemistry or frequency is.
Let me jump over to you going on and doing on-set coaching. The first time you went to do on-set coaching, was that nerve-wracking? Were you scared? Because I feel like there's such you're trying to figure out what is my function? I'm not the director. I'm not the actor. I'm trying to assist the actor without stepping on anybody's toes, but also how much do I push or flex? Like, was there any kind of anxiety getting into that?
I've had a few experiences.
What was the first gig you went
The first one
into?
was many, many years ago. And
what was it for?
It was for some independent movie. Oh my God, what's her name? She was in Clueless. Anyway, she said she wanted me to go on set to coach her. And I was like, so I did. She told the director. The director did not, I don't know if the director was happy.
Oh, I see. You were asked specifically by
the actor.
Without
the producer said yes. I don't think the director was happy. And that was awful. And I was like, I'm going to be very careful. And then, and at one point the director was not good. And I could tell that she had no idea what the lens was or what the shot was, and it wasn't making sense what she was doing with that friend. And I just said, it was like, and the director saw me, and he wanted to kill me. And I was like, okay, this is not my jam.
Yeah.
Then I remember
because there's too much ego there to deal with. Because
too much ego.
Clearly you're like, hey, as a director, that's one of my jobs, is to help the actor get there.
Yeah.
So if you're being brought in, it's a threat to my ego.
And after that, I remember lovely Paula Patton had asked me to go on set with her for an Antoine Fuqua movie. And I was like, I said, I want to make sure that Antoine is fully on board, because I'm not imposing myself on, I want to make sure. Didn't hear back from that. But then afterwards, it was a series of things. I think, I got hired to be on Made for Love, to work with this. And I did Doll Face. I went on for a brief, and I started to really enjoy it, because I was getting, I would spend so much time in Video Village, and just like I'd listen to them, I'd be able to, I really like Made for Love, because the director was asking me for help about how to talk to actors.
That's where it needs to be. It needs to be like the whole thing is a collaboration.
But that was very special, because the director asked for me. And she just wanted to become a little bit more versatile in the language she was using, and a little bit more eloquent regarding how to get someone to do something. And it was such a lovely event. And then I worked for a couple of years for that show, This Fool, with Chris. And that was such a learning experience for me, because it was not just going into set, but learning how to navigate the showrunners. Because I was there so much, I would navigate the showrunners and the directors, and understandably, they're a little bit like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And for me, being okay with that, like being like, that's fair, you don't know me. So it was learning my place in the organism, and knowing when to step in, how to step in, And I noticed that the more trust that started to happen when they started going, oh, we like his.
And there's not like, usually when you're seeing an acting teacher portrayed in a movie or a television show, they're not usually put in the best of light.
No.
We're not like glorifying the acting teacher. It's usually someone whose ego's gotten so big that they didn't have like their career, so now they're going to get their applause from teaching others. You know, so like there's this general like there's not like I'm seeing an acting teacher and thinking, oh, here's like someone who can help me. I'm thinking like, oh, who's this guy? And so you're having to overcome already like just like an idea.
But there are a lot of acting teachers like that.
And it's true. Like, it's not like that's just that cliche comes out of nowhere.
No, the one thing I'll say, I think I'm happy to be working.
Yeah.
But if I can be working in an environment that's joyful,
Yeah.
that is like, oh my God. And also, you know, it is interesting. I think when it comes to acting, like I think the one thing I've always thought about, it's like I'm very worried about you got to work sometimes when acting teachers, like owners of studios who don't have children, you have to make sure that they're not the type of people who are trying to make their students their children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Professor in college, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, no. That now it's dangerous.
That's not a relationship that we're building here.
That's not the relationship. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But I will say, like, I've learned everything about teaching from you, having been my teacher. And I've learned also everything about the film and TV business and how to exist within it as a happy working actor through working with you. And one thing that I love bringing into my classes is that I'm not the boss of what is right or wrong. I'm just trying, we're all working together. Like, it's a stronger class because of the brains that we all share. It's not that I'm the teacher and so you must listen to me. It's I've been around a little bit longer, and so I can help guide the great ideas that you're having into something useful for all of us to take away.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, let it be honest. If it can be honest,
Yeah.
then and obviously there's different grades of like what's interesting, what we find compelling.
Right.
But isn't it amazing when you're in a class where people are so like bursting
Yeah.
with ideas? Because at the end of the day on set, it's always going to be best ideas got to win.
Yeah. And avoiding the relationship that could be built of what you're trying to do in class is please me. Like, I don't want to set up a situation, because that's also what you don't want to have on set. I'm not going on set to please the director. I'm not going on set to please anybody. I'm trying to please the story.
You know, it's one of those things also, I think you've had it too, where someone's so consumed with pleasing you. And it's unfortunate because they're like, you should be with a different teacher.
Yeah, because I'm not going to reward you for that.
Well, yeah, and if your job is if you're trying to please me, it's at the expense of your work.
Yeah.
And God, I really want to work with you, and I want to work with you in a way where that's not your obstacle, but like that's often insurmountable obstacle.
Yeah.
When you're worried about just like pleasing that one person. And we say that all the time. It's never personal. It's like whatever I'm evoking in you is unfortunate, because what the fuck do I matter?
Yeah. There's so many incredible things. That's good, because I was coming to like kind of a roundabout thing. There's so many incredible things that this studio has built within the community, the film festival that we had for so many years, so many actors that now are working, so many people that have become teachers and TAs, worked through the office, made their way through to discover that they actually wanted to go through other pursuits. Like, there's so many things that it has built and
really
grown
remarkable.
over time. What do you see as like something you'd like to bring into the next phase of the studio, or like what is the next like period of growth, or next like I want this for JRS, or I want this for the community of JRS?
You know what I would like to do, and it's like now in this new, you know how we always had the short film festival?
Yes.
I think we have to find whatever the next version of that is, where it is about making sure that actively creating is just part of like almost like the daily, like part of the routine.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that right now people need to be in action. And I think with the current state of the industry, which is I don't think we're going to see this over. We're not going to see a shift, right? It's like this is kind of the new normal.
Yeah, it's not going back to the way it was.
No, but if you're not in a place of actively creating,
Yeah.
like you have to be in a place of actively creating. You have to be, in whatever form. But if filmmaking, being in front of a camera and doing something, it's remember how it was like Mark Duplass said, if you're not filming on weekends, something. But I think it's like we have evolved from that.
Yeah.
It's make it creativity literally like like it just now.
And I think if I was going to have a take on it, it's like try all the different forms of creativity and see the one that pulls you in.
What do you think the next creative? I think so much of it I think is like getting. I don't know what you feel the vibration is of actors right now in classes. I am noticing that's kind of all over, but I think you're watching a lot of people that are ready to go. I'm ready to be employed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they want to be in action. And I think it is reminding people to be like, okay, remember that. Cultivate the constitution of a happy working actor. Like, it's hard because you can't let whether you've booked a job lately determine your self-worth or your happiness. But I do think people are going through, people that are used to making their livings acting,
Yeah.
Are still booking jobs. They're just not financially as rewarded as they used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the one thing you have to return to is the finding that creative fulfillment of the doing.
Totally. And I think, I just had Leah Knauer on my podcast, and I met her.
She was in class.
Yeah, I met her here in 2013 when she
Stand-up.
was like 22 years old.
Yes.
And now she had this, when she moved out to LA, she had this like realization of like kind of the thing I've said to you before too, like, but this industry owes me nothing. And
Yes.
it's not going to just hand it to me just because I'm really good. I need to create my own platform, and I need to keep being flexible to how that platform shifts as I grow and I find new interests and the industry teaches me what it wants from me, and I find like what's my pocket audience or what's my thing that actually engages me. Like, because for me, I've tried writing features and writing narrative podcasts and writing musicals and being in productions, and I've had fun doing each thing, but the one that like keeps me going back, now like I have to try them all to find the one that keeps me engaged. Do you know what I mean? Like taste everything.
You're sifting through all of them
to find like, okay, here's the one that I've got to be creating my own stuff.
Well,
and I think that is the future. Like you were saying, we've all got to be well versed in all aspects of creation.
I went through a shift this year. This year was a good year because despite with everything that's going on, I'm incredibly grateful for how the year has gone here.
Yeah.
But as far as my personal life, like at the beginning of this year, I was feeling not great, just like a little heavy. I went on Zepbound. I lost 35 pounds.
Wow.
But that was really, talk about me going through it. Like I need a shift.
Yeah.
And a great thing happened. Sounds weird. I hurt my back.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest gift that ever happened, because I've been losing weight. Then I did something stupid. I took a boxing class. I herniated disc. But that was the best thing that ever happened, because I went to physical therapy, and I was like, ooh, I like this. And then that led me to Pilates, and it just was where kind of like my creativity has actually been like my body. And like that's what this year was. This year was like my source of creativity was finding, like using this in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And my wife and I were able to join that, and I think it's been a great thing even though my son's probably not aware of it, I know he's really happy witnessing what's happening with mom and dad. And that's brought me at least an excitement. So I'm interested to see. And I find that if I'm not being creative within myself, then I have less to offer in the classroom.
But I think that's such a beautiful thing, because like that does not feel like, it's not attached to how am I going to improve my acting studio or my teaching, but it completely supports that part of ourselves. So being open to like the thing that draws you in creatively does not need to have an end goal of building your business. It just needs to engage you and make you excited, and that mindset will feed the rest of it.
You know what's funny about that? So this year was my body. The year before was the podcast.
Right.
Because I had, there was someone else doing a podcast with the studio, and my other thought was like, I could never do a podcast.
Yeah.
But what's funny is, you know what my secret was?
What?
That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it because I was like, that's not what I do.
Right.
And I had defined a role for myself that was
You put these walls up for yourself.
I limited myself because I was like, that's not me. And even voices like, no one wants to hear me do a fucking podcast.
Right.
And I built all these ideas of like, that's, I didn't want it to look like some narcissistic, self-centered creative act. But then at one point I was like, I think it'd be really cool to interview people. Like, I want to hear about that. And that's where, and then I did that, and that becomes, so I am interested to see, you're right, like, what is it in coming to the new year? The one thing I will say, though, I don't know, but I know I really am, I have faith that something is going to really emerge. That's it. It's like, it's got to emerge.
I think it's a great place for us to come to a close, is like, you're following your passion, you're following the things that interest you, and you're also accepting that there is an unknown.
It's unknown.
And the unknown is actually exciting rather than terrifying.
Yeah.
I'd rather have some unknown rather than just have like full awareness of what's coming next.
Yeah, I think the second you got to be careful when you say I have a plan. Okay, where's the plan coming from?
Yeah,
like,
you can have an intention.
I have an intention.
It's really because an intention can shift. An intention can lead you somewhere else. A plan can break and then make you feel real sad.
Yeah, like no New Year's resolution.
No.
No, but intention. I want to be happy.
John, this was so fun to interview you for your podcast. It went by so quickly.
I know. Can we keep on going?
Yeah.
Why don't we keep on going?
I'll have to come back.
I don't get a chance.
And interview you. I'll bring you onto Big Theater Kid Energy, and we'll continue the conversation.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll go see a show at the Pantages or something, and then I'll have you over, and we'll chat more.
We'll put them together in some edit.
Perfect.
I love you, Ryan Garcia.
I love you too, John Rosenfeld. I don't know if you do any kind of sign-off or anything, but I'll say right here, thank you so much for listening to #ActorLife.
Oh, I do. I want to do one. No, but I want to lead you.
Do it.
This is me taking over the...
I love that.
Okay. I'm stealing from the chicken wings.
Great.
Ryan, what would you like to pitch?
What do I want to pitch?
Yeah, you have talk to our audience. What would you like to say? Like, what do you got going on right now?
What I want to promote?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to promote that all of you should go over and check out Big Theater Kid Energy. That's everywhere. It's on Instagram, TikTok, and definitely in podcasts and YouTube. I go and watch shows that are in LA or traveling through LA to prove that Los Angeles is a thriving theater town. So support my podcast, support LA theater, and support your own local theater. Because those stories are great, and those people are great. And that's all I want to promote.
Yeah. Well, I will say, theater, now I've been thinking about it, that is unaffected by AI.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to really see some emerging theater in LA.
People crave in-person live events that we can actually breathe the same air together.
And it's going to happen more and more.
Yeah.
I really believe that's going to, that's going to be a growing industry.
Yeah, theater. I think theater's got a future.
I think theater's got a future.
All right, John, thank you so much. Great talking to you.
Thank you. How did we do, Richard?
Very good.
That's a cut.
All right, okay.
#ActorLife is a John Rosenfeld Studios podcast, produced by Pave Path Productions, filmed by Haley Tucker, sound engineering by Haley and Adam Tucker, sound mixing and original music by Brandon Liu and Brandon Liu Music. To learn more about John Rosenfeld Studios, visit www.johnrosenfeld.com.